Well, it is 9 o'clock on the nose. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning for a very special chat with Spencer. I say special because we're breaking from the mold a little bit, as all of you who have been following us and have participated in our chat with Spencer's know. We typically feature one of our community partners so that you have the opportunity to get to appreciate and understand the work of the Achieve Brown County through their insights, perspectives, eyes, ears, and lived experiences. Today, we are welcoming four of our amazing AmeriCorps VISTAs, three of whom have been with us for almost the past 12 months. As Vista's doing during the 2020-2021 term. The whole reason why we have them here with us this morning is to recognize them for their great contributions to our success over the past 12 months. We're also joined by our newest Vista, who is going to be working with us for the 2021-2022 Vista term. So without any further ado, I am really pleased to welcome Shalyn Gertler, Megan Enderby, Nikki Erdman, our three 2020-2021 Vistas, and Erica Ditzman, our newest 2021-2022 Vista. So welcome to all four of you. Thanks for joining me this morning. As per usual, as we say in our family, we have a set of questions that I'm going to pose of all four of our guests this morning. They're really designed to get at the core of their experience as AmeriCorps Vistas, what that's been like, what they've been able to do during their time with us, or what they are going to do in their time with us, in Erica's case. And at the end, our hope is that you all who are watching walk away with as strong a sense of we have around how critical our vistas are to the work and ultimately the success of Achieve Brown County. So without any further ado, let's dive in. Ready to go? Awesome. So my first question for all of you is simply, what is AmeriCorps and what's an AmeriCorps Vista? Shalyn, why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I heard about AmeriCorps during my master's program because a lot of the master's students were going into it. And basically, it's the ability to volunteer for your community. So you spend 1 year contract and you get to work with your community members, particularly at ABC. We're very integrated with our community. You get to spend time writing grants, spend time learning different skills. It's a great opportunity out there for like a solid year.
Awesome. Megan, Nikki, and even Erica, anything that you would add?
Yeah, I would just add that, so VISTA is actually a pretty cool acronym. It stands for Volunteer in Service to America. So I was always very proud to tell people I was a volunteer in service to America. And all VISTA positions, what they have in common is they're working with organizations that are fighting against poverty. And then they're in capacity building roles. So Vista does not usually include direct service. So, actually sitting down and mentoring youth one-on-one. Vista is about working with the organization and expanding their capacity. Yes, and it's, as Shalyn said, it's an amazing 1 year opportunity that benefits us, the Vistas, just as much as it benefits the organization you serve with.
Would totally agree with that. I would argue, though, that your service with us far outweighs any of the benefits that you receive, although you do benefit clearly from the service, as we'll talk about more moving forward. I just want to underscore a couple of things that both Shalyn and Megan said. So as Megan said, the core focus of the AmeriCorps Vista program is eradicating poverty. Obviously, that's different than our core focus, cradle to career youth development, but poverty is one of the underlying factors to keeping young people from realizing their full potential, to achieving the outcomes that we're seeking to help them achieve, and ultimately to creating a truly equitable community in which all of them have every opportunity to succeed in school, work, and life. So that's why there is such a strong connection between the work of Achieve Brown County and the AmeriCorps Vista program. The other thing that both Shalyn and Megan says is that their roles are really focused on increasing our capacity to do what they do what we do, rather. So not only do Shalyn, Megan, Erica, and Nikki have the opportunity to help us do the work that we do, but their work with us very much increases our capacity. It broadens and deepens our impact across the community, as evidenced very much so by the past year and all of the amazing data work that we did and the new action teams that we launched. We would not have been able to do that but for Shalyn, Megan, Nikki, and the other Vistas on our team. So right on target, both of you, with your overview of AmeriCorps. Thank you for that. So what ultimately attracted you to serve with Achieve Brown County? You had a choice of a number of different organizations, both here in our local community and across the nation for that matter. What brought you to Achieve Brown County specifically? Nikki, what are your thoughts about that?
Sure. Thank you, Spencer. I have to say it's a little bit weird being on this side now. If some of you don't know, I'm the one monitoring the chat usually, so it's weird.
And to be fair, Nikki, if I might jump in, Nikki was the one that came up with the idea for chat with Spencer. So need to give credit where credit is due. She was the brainchild behind all of this and the great guests that we have been able to feature along the way. So Nikki, thank you for making this possible.
Thank you. And then Erica will be taking that over as well. So to answer your question, what drew me to ABC? So I grew up in Green Bay, so I have definitely a deep tie to the community, and learning more about ABC and their mission is something I resonate with, and I wanted to, help the community. And sometimes I think we don't know ways to help, and being a Vista is a great way to really help your community, and in our case, help children, cradle to career, find their path and get success. So I think also just ABC fosters a great environment work-wise, and I think that's really evident even from my interview, that everyone enjoys working here, and you can definitely feel that. So that's something that really drew me to ABC and made me want to join the organization. Hopefully that answered your question, Spencer.
Very much so. Thank you, Nikki, for that. Megan, Shalyn, anything to add to what Nikki said?
I would just add that, so what drew me to ABC was, the opportunity to develop leadership skills and project management skills and to network with local nonprofits. As I think it was Shalyn said earlier, we really get to interact with different community organizations. And so that networking opportunity was huge. And then also, so why did I ultimately decide to serve? So I have 2 young children. And so as anyone with young children knows, childcare is very expensive. And so the reason I ultimately committed was because AmeriCorps has an amazing childcare benefit, and it's not terribly difficult to apply, or to qualify. And so 100% of my childcare costs for the year were covered, and that really is what made it possible for me to serve, because we do receive a stipend, but it's not enough to cover all of your living expenses when you have children. So that really sealed the deal for me.
That's a great add, Megan. Thank you. As all of you know, and Nikki, you most especially because of your work with them, we have been over the past year working with 5 parents who all are very passionate advocates for changes in the entire childcare system relative to the outsized challenges that they and their families experience in finding high quality and affordable childcare. So Megan, to your point, that is one of the greatest benefits of serving as a Vista, particularly for somebody like you with 2 young children who have a need for childcare. So thank you for mentioning that. Shalyn, anything to add?
Yeah, so I'm not from Green Bay like Megan and Nikki, and what actually drew me was your guys' goal from the cradle to career. I was really intrigued by that. I was like, oh, that seems like a really good goal. So that's actually why I chose ABC over a different Vista program.
Awesome. We are, as anybody who's been following us knows, quite unique relative to the role that we play as a backbone organization for community-led cradle-to-career nonprofits. And I would argue that certainly Shalyn, Megan, and Nikki, the work that you got to do, and Erica, the work that you're going to do, was unique based on the nature of our work. So Shalyn, I appreciate you pointing that out as well. Thank you. So tell us more about your experience. What did you get to do more specifically? What were some of your greatest contributions? What were some of the highlights of your experience, or something that you were most proud of relative to your year of service with us? Megan, why don't you take that one?
Sure. So my role with ABC was a project team lead. And so one of the main functions of ABC in our community is to convene action teams. So convene organizations in our community who all have a stake in different issues kids are facing or different outcomes. And so Shalyn was also a project team lead. There's usually 3 Vistas that are project team leads. And so I led 3 teams, the graduation task force, which embeds graduation specialists in high schools and middle schools in Brown County, through a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Green Bay. And then also a team that came about as a result of the pandemic. It was originally called Childcare for Students because virtual learning created a childcare gap for parents who still needed to go to work, but their children were home for their schooling. So that team came together to address those kiddos who were too young to be staying home by themselves, and to try to work with the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA, the YWCA, We All Rise, and Encompass Early Education and Care to create additional childcare spots for those students who needed a safe place to go. And then also I was the project team lead for the COVID-19 collective response team. And that's a team that's still ongoing, where community organizations come together to talk about like needs that they're seeing from their constituents. And there's a lot of like resource sharing and even like what are the latest CDC guidelines for mask wearing and things like that. So there's like a ton of like just community collaboration that and conversations that spark in those meetings that then take place offline. So I got to lead those teams, and really got to develop my public speaking skills, my leadership skills. Got to organize like what topics are we going to talk about at our action team meetings, and got to really experience like driving change forward. So really powerful experiences as a project team lead. And my most favorite experience was getting to write a collective grant. So like it included 10 different organizations on the Childcare for Students team, and got to write a grant that proposing to benefit all 10 organizations. And that experience led to me becoming the grant specialist now at the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Green Bay. So really an example of how a Vista experience can translate into the rest of your career. So those are just a few of my highlights. I'm sure Shalyn and Nikki have some as well.
That was awesome, Megan. Thank you for going into as much detail about your experience, accomplishments, highlights, and we'll come back to where you are now as a result of your year of service. So hold on to that for a moment. Shalyn, what about you? Tell us more about your experience overall.
Yeah, so as Megan mentioned, I'm also a project team lead, and I was originally over two teams. So Action Team 1.1, whose goal is to get the ASQ into all our healthcare systems. So the ASQ is a screener where we look for developmental delays. And then COAS, which is the community online ASQ system, where we're trying to get all our community members not only connected through the ASQ, but online as well, so that if you did an ASQ in your elementary school, it can go to your daycare and everybody can share that information. And now I am the project team lead for all 7 teams. So on top of my teams, I also have Megan's teams and I have Mai's teams, who isn't here. And that includes digital access. So that came out of COVID, where the goal is to get digital access to all students and families that need it. So really that's a lot of information sharing. We have a couple projects going. It's a really fun team with a lot of great detail. And then I also took on FAFSA Plus, which is the goal is to get more kids into post-secondary, and we do that through monitoring our FAFSA, because it has been shown that if you do the FAFSA, you are more likely to go on to post-secondary. So I'm in a lot of teams right now. It's actually loads of fun. I won't complain about it because I get to see all these different teams. I literally get to see cradle to career changes and get to be part of the community, and it's loads of fun. It's been great being on all 7. But my biggest accomplishment would probably still be in COAS, because that was my first group and I was very happy and like holding on to it. And we have moved 2 of our partners are fully online, and we have a lot of partners moving online. So it's been really exciting.
Awesome. Great overview, Shallon. Thank you. And as Shallon mentioned, she's now serving as the project team lead for 7 of our collaborative action teams, all of them right now. That's because Megan has transitioned into her new role, another one of our collaborative action team, Vista's project team leads. Mai has completed her term and moved into a new role as well. So we've taken to calling Shallon, and I got to give credit to our director of collaborative action, Ann Makata, for this, our super Vista, because of all that she is doing in her remaining few months with us. So Shallon, thank you for all of that. Nikki, tell us more about your experience.
So as a communications Vista, I'm kind of the person behind the curtain, kind of like Oz, monitoring all the different social medias. So we have a Facebook page, which, you know, we have our live series on, and then Twitter, LinkedIn, and those are our main channels of communication. So I manage those, and then I guess I birthed this Chat with Spencer series that, you know, has become really awesome. I'm really excited for seeing what it comes out of it and seeing what it's progressed into being. So as a communications Vista, I do the social media, but as well the PAC Fellowship, which is Parents Advocating for Affordable Childcare, which is in collaboration with the Wisconsin Partnership, which is of 5 organizations. So Achieve Brown County, Higher Expectations of Racine County, Building Our Future Kenosha, and then the Watershed Council, or
Watertown.
So all 5 of us work together, and we've had our 5 fellows actually graduate last week, actually.
Wednesday night, yeah.
It was an 8-month program, so it was very bittersweet to see them graduate, but I'm really proud of them, as Spencer also was a part of it, as well as Leah. So that was probably my proudest moment, seeing them become so much more confident in their abilities to advocate. That was the whole goal, was for them to be, you know, advocating for affordable childcare at, you know, the capital of Wisconsin, so Madison, and really champion change. And it's been wonderful seeing them grow as individuals, and that was definitely something I'm proud of, as well as the chat with Spencer. But yeah, that was something that I think Spencer can also attest to, has been a wonderful thing that we've experienced. It was a new program, so it was a pilot year, so that was really exciting, just the project management aspect and just getting to know each 5 of our fellows. So that was definitely something I was proud of, as well as a highlight of my year of service.
Awesome. Thank you, Nikki. Would totally agree with everything you said about the PAC Fellowship for sure. Just want to point out that something that all three of you spoke to, I thought very eloquently and passionately to, was the opportunity that you all had to not just contribute to, but to really experience the impact of not just Achieve Brown County's work, but your work with Achieve Brown County. You got to, towards the end of your term, really see how everything that you did bore fruit for us. And for most especially our partners and young people and their families that we serve around the community. So I would echo that wholeheartedly. That is one of the greatest rewards for all of us that work at Achieve Brown County, is not only do we get to help convene, facilitate, and support all of this amazing work in our community, but we actually get to see it take shape into, as I said, bear fruits for the benefit of our young people and their families. So thank you all for speaking to that. So we are still recruiting for 3 AmeriCorps Vistas for the next term, the 2021-2022 term. Erica was the first of our newest Vistas to join us just last week, but we are still recruiting for 3 project team leads, 3 Vistas for our collaborative action team. This is the team that Shallon continues to serve on, and Megan served on up until the point that she left us for the Boys and Girls Club. Shallon, Megan, and Nikki, what would you say to anybody out there in the world who is considering not just serving as a Vista, but considering serving as a Vista with Achieve Brown County? What would you say are some of the benefits of service to you in particular, and what encouragement would you offer them? And feel free to just jump in here with your thoughts. I can get you to rock, paper, scissors if you want to do that too.
I can jump in. I won't make it get to rock, paper, scissors.
Thanks, Megan.
So I would say, like, if you're considering it, I would absolutely do it. It's a really rewarding year. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to push your skills. You're going to push yourself, develop more skills. As a project team lead, you get to work closely with the director of collaborative action, Ann McCotter, and she is absolutely one of the reasons that I have moved into a grant writing career. You know, she did a great job of telling me, like, Megan, this is what you're amazing at. And I harnessed that to go out and look for the next step. So so when I started as a Vista, I was kind of floundering, like, what am I doing with my career? What am I doing with my life? And so this year helped me figure that out. And it put me on the path that I know I'm meant to be on. So it's a really powerful year for sure.
Well said, Megan. Thank you. Shallon or Nikki?
I'm sure we've mentioned this a lot, but the community connections is huge. So if you're unsure what you want to do, the nonprofit connections, the connections we have with the school districts, the healthcare systems, and they're all very supportive of Vistas. So when you come in and you're like, oh, I've decided I want to be a grant writer, you're gonna have those connections, which is super helpful for moving forward in your career. So it allows you to make a lot of really wonderful connections in the community.
Great. Thank you, Shallon. Nikki, anything to add?
Sure. To echo what Shallon and Chris or Megan said, I would definitely say the community connections definitely helps. So, like, as a communications Vista, I with the chat with Spencer, reach out to many nonprofits, and you build relationships that way. And then I also got a freelance position through my work at ABC, and just seeing the work as a communications Vista and the graphics and everything that I've created. So definitely good. Also, if you're just coming out of college and you're not really sure yet what you want to do career-wise, I when I joined ABC, I had just completed my undergrad. And so I was in like a weird stage where I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do with my degree. And I definitely think that coming into this is a great segue, getting into like the professional field and kind of figuring out like what are you good at, what do you enjoy, like your strong suits and things like that. So I definitely think that is a plus if you're just coming out of college and you're kind of like trying to figure it out, because I know a lot of seniors have graduated, such as Erica. Actually, I'll let her speak, but so definitely a good way. Also, if you're maybe thinking of going into a different career field, similarly to what Megan mentioned, it's a good way to do that. And also, Anne, she was a Vista as well, and you can be a Vista of all ages. She is a little bit older, so you can do it at all ages. It's not just for those coming out of college. So don't be deterred if that's something you're passionate about and you want to go into a different career. It's a great way to do that and learn more about yourself. And myself, I learned more skills about graphic design and communications and leadership, and it's a great way to hone in on whatever skills you want to really build on.
Awesome. Thank you, Nikki. Well said, all three of you. And Nikki, thanks for pointing out that as much as the vast majority of Vistas are young adults, like all four of you that are recent grads or just embarking on their careers, the Vista program is for anybody. Anybody can be an AmeriCorps Vista. So thank you, Nikki, for pointing that out. Anybody with a college degree can be an AmeriCorps Vista, I should say. All right, one more question. And Nikki, you set Erica up for this really well. Erica, you've been super gracious in sitting patiently to this point, but I'm going to start by asking this next question of you. What are you most looking forward to in the year ahead? And for you, it's going to be a year of service with Achieve-Bound County, but for Shalyn, Megan, and Nikki, it's going to be whatever it is you're doing next. And we already heard a little bit from Megan about what that is, but let's start with Erica. Erica, you're a week into your year of service with us. What are you most looking forward to?
I'm most excited to really exercise creativity in a professional setting, and it's really in a way that I've never been able to in my previous positions. So we have a lot of posts lined up this week, so stay tuned on Facebook. And then we also have a newsletter. So I used to work as co-editor-in-chief of the St. Norbert Times at St. Norbert College, and I'm really excited to hit the ground running with that. So
awesome. Awesome. You have some big shoes to fill in your predecessor, Nikki, but Nikki at least is hanging around with us for a little bit longer. So the two of you will have the opportunity to work together on those things, which we're very excited about. Megan, let's come back to you. So you already teased out the fact that you are now working with the Boys and Girls Club. Tell us more about how that opportunity came about and what you're looking forward to as you look ahead.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So I was given the opportunity to do some grant writing while at ABC, so that I've always loved writing, but having the opportunity to really do that and then show that to the community partners that were involved in that grant was really powerful. And that's how I through the Child Care for Students team is how I got connected with Johanna Wickland. She is the COO here at the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Green Bay, and she is a key partner of ABC. And she, back in December, took the time to ask me about what my career plans were, and to just kind of start building a relationship with me. And she recognized in me that I had what it took to be a grant writer at the club. And that's really powerful when someone that you respect in the community says, like, you have what it takes and you're enough just as you are. So I'm not a recent grad. I graduated in 2010. So, I'm in my 30s, floundering, switching to the nonprofit world, switching industries. And so to have Anne help me figure out my strengths, and to have Johanna recognize those strengths was so powerful. And now I'm here at Club, and just that never would have happened without ABC and without, meeting Johanna in that way. So so grateful for this year. And then now that it's led to, I want to say led to my forever home. I mean, I'm so happy here at Club. So
thanks for that, Megan. Your accomplishments absolutely stand on their own. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Achieve Brown County and the Boys and Girls Club have a really great partnership with each other, through which not only we're doing amazing work, but we've been able to place 3 Vistas now with the Boys and Girls Club. So Megan was preceded last year by Kennedy Metoxen, who worked as a graduation specialist over this past year, and Marco Delbecchi from 2 years ago, who has worked as a graduation specialist with the Boys and Girls Club for the past 2.5 years. So we're incredibly fortunate to have that kind of relationship where we can help place Vistas like Megan, Kennedy, and Marco in roles with one of our strongest partners, which is awesome. I know we're at time, but Shallon, I want to make sure that you have your due here too. What are you most looking forward to and whatever's coming next for you?
Yeah, the question is, what is coming next? So right now I'm applying for jobs mostly in the teaching or enrichment. So kind of not really K-12, more like 6th through 12th grade teaching. That's kind of my goal. I've missed teaching more than anything else. So I've been looking for teaching positions.
So school districts in Brown County, take notes. Shallon is a good one and absolutely a keeper. You should absolutely be looking to hire her for some of your teaching positions. And if you have any questions about that, please reach out to Ann or me. We'd be happy to put in an amazing reference for Shallon. Awesome. Thank you to all 4 of you.
Spencer, you
Nikki.
didn't let me do what's ahead for me.
Oh, Nikki, I totally skipped you. You're right. Sorry. I forgot that we transitioned right for you. So thank you.
It's all right. So for me, my term is coming up in September. So I'll be around for a few months longer, kind of helping Erica transition into her role. If wasn't clear, Erica will be the new communications coordinator. So she did start last week. So I'll be kind of wrapping up and working on some projects before I leave. So I will also be joining the workforce. So if you want to give me a shout out, Spencer,
totally, absolutely.
So I'll be looking for communications jobs or anything like with community engagement. So, let's try to get Shallon and I some employment.
Absolutely. Nikki, I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
You guys go from right to left on my screen, and I went from Erica to Megan and Shallon. So I'm so glad that you piped up and caught me. And yes, I would say all the same things about Nikki that I did for Shallon. If anybody is looking to hire an amazing communications or marketing or community engagement person, she's the complete package. So please reach out and we'll give her, Nikki, just as amazing reference as we would Shallon or really any of our Vistas. So with that, I want to first of all thank the 4 of you for joining me today. You all did a great job. I'm so impressed with how well you spoke to the work that you have done, that we do as an organization. So proud of certainly Shallon, Megan, and Nikki. Erica, really looking forward to working with you in the year ahead. I also want to do a quick shout out to the Vistas who couldn't be here today. So we're very fortunate that our 2 data Vistas, Nabila and Haley, have committed to a 2nd year of service with us. So they will be returning for another 12 months and creating such great continuity, the opportunity to continue to build on the work that they've done. And just last week, our 6th Vista from this past term, Mai, completed her term and moved into a new role herself. So much of what we've been talking about over the past 30 minutes is as much due to the 3 of them as it is due to Shallon, Megan, and Nikki, as I think the 3 of you would agree. And Erica, you've got such a great foundation on which to build, certainly due to the great work of the Vistas that preceded you in this year's term. So thank you to all 4 of you again. Thanks to all of our Vistas. Thanks to those of you that have been watching, and we'll see you next time for our next chat with Spencer. Have a great morning, everybody. Thanks again.